Chapter 30, the 5th of September. The extension provided by the great agent of Thomson French, at the moment when Morrel expected it least, was, to the poor shipowner, so decided a stroke of good fortune that he almost dared to believe that fate was at length grown weary of wasting her spite upon him. The same day he told his wife Emmanuel and his daughter all that had occurred. And a ray of hope, if not tranquility, returned to the family. Unfortunately, however, Morrel had not only engagements with the house of Thomson French, who had shown themselves so considerate towards him, and, as he had said, in business he had correspondents and not friends. When he had thought the matter over, he could by no means account for this generous conduct on the part of Thomson French towards him, and could only attribute it to some such selfish argument as this: "We had better help a man who owes us nearly 300,000 francs, and have those 300,000 francs at the end of 3 months, than hasten his ruin and only get 6 or 8% of our money back again." Unfortunately, whether through envy or stupidity, all Morrel's correspondents did not take this view, and some even came to a contrary decision. The bills signed by Morrel were presented at his office with scrupulous exactitude, and, thanks to the delay granted by the Englishman, were paid by Cocles with equal punctuality. Cocles thus remained with his accustomed tranquility. It was Morrel alone who remembered with alarm that if he had to repay on the 15th the 50,000 francs of M. de Bouville, and on the 30th the 32,500 francs of bills, for which, as well as the debt due to the inspector of prisons, he had time granted, he must be a ruined man. Welcome to Chapter 30, and what a bit of back and forth here. As we're going into more of Morrel's situation, we're going to follow Morrel, it seems like. The Englishman, Dante, as we know, departed at the end of chapter 29, leaving Morrel and his family with this extra 3-month extension from June to September to pay that 300,000 francs. Morrel allowing his family a little bit of hope and tranquility, while burdening the worry of paying these debts in 3 months on his own, even allowing Cocles to feel a little bit of calm in being able to pay the bills on time without worry. But Morrel himself knows that, as he's saying here at the very end, should the September 5th deadline come around, he is still going to be a ruined man. So he's really just delayed his execution, so to speak. And so this whole passage here today, it was really like a pendulum. He's talking about the same day he told his wife Emmanuel and his daughter all that had occurred, and a ray of hope, blah, 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 blah. So like, okay, hey, we got a little bit of things to be thankful for. And then immediately the next sentence: "Unfortunately, however, Morrel had not only engagements with the house of Thomson French, da-da-da-da-da." So he's like, okay, yeah, so even though we had a really beneficent gesture by Thomson French, they're not the only ones. We still have these other people to worry about. And then he's like, but that allowed me a lot of time. However, they can't be that generous of spirit. They have to be, like, selfish somehow in their act by saying, listen, if we give him a little more time, we're going to get our whole money back. If we ruin him, we're only going to get like a fraction of that. So let's just give him the extension and hope that he pays us back. He can't accept the generosity for what it is, because why would you? He has no reason to. I also would be as skeptical in his situation. But as that pendulum swinging, then the second paragraph, I feel like I said the word unfortunately a lot today in this passage. Saying that, unfortunately, whether through envy or stupidity, all Morrel's correspondents did not take this view, saying that the other people he owes bills to are still asking for their money. So I guess it's less of like a pendulum and more like a gauntlet of pendulums. You pass one swinging pendulum, and then you have to, time yourself and get through the next swinging pendulum, and then you got to time yourself and then get through the next swinging pendulum. And if I were in this position, I would just be Sigourney Weaver at the end of Galaxy Quest saying, fuck that. But is this 3 months going to be enough for Morrel to save himself, his family, and his business? I guess there's only one way to find out, and I guess that's what we're going to be following here in Chapter 30. So join me here tomorrow as we learn more about Morrel the man. Morrel the legend? Until tomorrow, you know where to find me. Okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.